Good evening, people. Another video. I haven't been inspired lately to do any. But tonight, I think I'm going to say a few things. One thing was that I've got my internet provider is Comcast, okay? So they also have my cable television thing. And they made a mistake when I moved here to my new apartment, which was to essentially switch me from the very basic cable, which I was subscribed to expanded cable. So they billed me for that for 2 months, and I saw that on my bill, and not getting the channels, of course. So I called them up and I said, hey, what's up with this? You're billing me for expanded cable, yet for some reason I can't, isn't CNN supposed to be expanded cable, or, some of these other channels? And I said, oh, yeah, sure, we'll come out and fix it. So they came out and fixed it today. Well, I got my fix in terms of completely idiotic television, and needless to say, I'm going to be canceling that right away. So here's what I'm seeing on CNN tonight. Okay, I'm watching this right now, and with the sound turned off. And what I'm watching is, big headlines on the TV screen saying Libya war. This is kind of reminiscent of the Iraq war when it first started. Years ago. Nobody remembers that anymore. And these big, huge headlines. All they have to do is change a few letters, and you're right back to where you started. So now we're embarking on another war, and this time it's Libya. And then, the usual footage of, what I'm seeing here, I guess, is anti-aircraft batteries firing off their missiles into the night sky. You may as well just use stock footage for the shit, because who in the hell even knows what is going on there? And in regards to Libya, Gaddafi is probably a pretty unhinged person to start with, but, that makes him no different than any other dictator in the Middle East, and people whom we have long supported. And now I guess the Obama administration has decided to throw a few bones towards the UK, that is, the United Kingdom, England, that is, and towards France, in terms of their own economic objectives as far as oil policies are concerned, you see. So, once again, this is all about oil, Nobody was talking about intervening anywhere in the Middle East on behalf of the people, let's say in Egypt or in Tunisia, because those oil deposits there are not quite as vast as the ones in Libya. So that's why you have this little intervention here, which is called upon because of humanitarian concerns. Right. At least that's what Hillary Clinton tells us. These people, these dictators who move against their own people, evidently need to be removed. Now, the missile barrage against Libya, when we don't even know what is going on there, really. Is this some internal civil war, some rebel faction which is supported by various other state actors? or is this a genuine uprising by the people? I mean, I have seen no evidence of this. Some of the reports far and in between even say that these so-called rebels have their own fighter jets. Okay? Fighter jets which are being shot down by Gaddafi's regime. Now, it seems a little bit strange that a grassroots uprising from the people would have access to the Air Force, basically. And unless, of course, you know, the military in Libya is involved in this as well, then nobody knows. None of us know any of this, and we can all speculate about what is going on there, but I can almost tell you with certainty that it has nothing to do with preserving human rights. The situation is such that the United States is violating human rights all over the place while condemning others for the same thing. Okay? The amount of hypocrisy out there simply cannot get any greater than it is already. So to speak about human rights, you know, while locking up prisoners here in the United States without trial, without habeas corpus, without any kind of adherence to international law or even domestic law, everything we're seeing is essentially becoming a fucking joke. Obama is instrumental in this, I'm afraid. And he doesn't take a stance on anything, except that he takes a stance for the international bankers and the elites who are really running the show. That's who he kowtows to. And, you know, people who've known me long enough here, you know, on YouTube know that I'm not a Republican. I'm also not a libertarian. I used to be a Democrat up until the last stages of the Clinton presidency. And I made the mistake, falsely hoping, like many people, you know, that Obama would be able to turn things around. But boy, was I disappointed. Not only was I disappointed, but basically we've all been betrayed. So as far as knowing who your opposition is, I prefer an opposition which is clear, which stands for their beliefs, and that's something that I can see up front, and in that case it is very easy to point out, rather than somebody that's coming underneath and basically pretending to be your friend, pretending to be your supporter when they're actually not, and undermining your very cause. So that's where I stand, and I can tell you with certainty today, and I'm not going to change my mind on this, that I will not vote for Obama again. If I decide to rejoin the Democratic Party, and I've left the party by now, that would mean I could vote in the primary in my state. And if I decide to do that, I'm going to challenge. I'm going to vote for any challenger in the Democratic Party that comes up, you know, as a challenge to Obama. Short of that, I might not, you know, I might just sit out the primaries and not do anything. This two-party system is too corrupt and too broken to be repaired, in my opinion. And it's not just here. This is a worldwide phenomenon. And basically the financial oligarchies and the financial elites are taking over the planet, and there is a concerted effort on their part to basically go back to the Middle Ages, to the 18th century, 19th century, where basically everybody was an indentured servant, I think quite a few people on this globe would have a problem with that, which is why in the long term they may not succeed. But remember, they have vast powers at their disposal, and since they know how serious this fight is, they're going to fight, especially once they're being cornered. And they're not being cornered at all at this point. So that's my take on things, and it's a struggle. It's an ongoing struggle. It always has been, and in closing, I'd like to send my good wishes to the people of the survivors of the tsunami in Japan. It's a terrible thing, what is happening there, and it's taking so long, to get the aid to these villages, and we saw what happened in the tsunami during the tsunami in Indonesia, and that's not even mentioned anymore. It's just like, this disaster also will be forgotten 2 years from now. I hope they can get this nuclear shit under control. They might not be able to. And we should all take a very, very serious look at our geographical locations and how that relates to nuclear plants and nuclear safety, because obviously there is nuclear safety is an oxymoron. There are many risks involved, and so far the risks, or the benefits rather, have outweighed those risks. But how many more times can we have disasters like this? And we don't know where to store these spent fuel rods, which emit radiations for millions of years after they're stored. I mean, that's a big problem. So this cannot be our ultimate source of alternative energy. We need to find true renewables, and that's going to take some major investment, not just financial investment, but also investment on the political level, which is very hard to do. Very hard, because nobody wants to give up what they have. Good night.